welcome to Devil's Advocate. Today, I'll introduce myself first. I'm Ben. I'm joined by Shawn, my housemate. Today we're going to talk about which fictional universe is best in our humble opinion, which one we might actually want to live in. We've selected a few.
We are extremely humble.
Yes.
Extremely.
Anyone that knows me would say that about me.
Yeah, I get that all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. And you'll get that from the podcast as well, the more you listen to it. You're like, that guy is so humble.
He's practically Jesus.
Yeah. Not anymore. The beard's gone now.
No, I'm disappointed, to be honest. Lord of the Rings, Middle Earth.
That's a good one to start with, isn't it?
Yeah. Seems a bit dangerous to me.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. It's like one war after another, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's always like a massive war.
And as it seems to be, if you're a human, right?
You don't live very long, do you?
No, not in this war,
No.
because them orcs are fucking huge.
Yeah.
Right? But not only that, you've always got a fucking mad king ruling over you.
Well, if you
The guy from Rohan, he was possessed by that dude,
Yeah.
that worm tongue guy. Then
Yeah.
you go to the other one, where the guy becomes king. I can't even remember. It's been fucking ages I've seen them. What's his name?
Which?
The main character.
Aragon.
That's him, where he's supposed to become king of.
Oh, okay, yeah.
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 The king there is a lunatic.
Yep.
Why is there always a lunatic in charge?
He's not the king, is he? He's the regent because Aragon's not there.
Yeah, but it's really obvious that he's not going to just give up his position when Aragorn rocks up and goes,
Should do.
"You're right, I'm the king, by the way. Been away for a while, I've come back. Thanks for looking after shit."
This is the thing, though, isn't it? Even though in that sort of fictional universe, every sort of species lives longer, doesn't it? Like Aragon's like 80 in it. Yeah, he looks like a 30-year-old man. So the lifespan is longer for... Yeah, he's like 80.
I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, he's like 80 in that.
Wow.
Yeah,
I did
I'm
not
sure
know.
he's like 50 or 80. He's a lot older. So like humans do age slower.
Yeah.
And dwarfs and stuff, they live like hundreds of years.
Yeah,
don't they?
elves.
And the elves are immortal.
They can be
They
if they
live-
go to that
yeah,
island. So
yeah.
you got to pally up with an elf, haven't
Well,
you?
even in like Middle Earth, they still live for thousands a year. They still age very, very slowly. I think if they start getting to the point where they're middle aged, that's when they just leave, don't they?
Yeah. Worst job in there has got to be elf soldier.
Yeah.
Because them guys, they get sent to Helm's Deep.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, there's only like 300 of them or how many. And I think every single one of them must have been thinking, I could be on that fucking boat now.
I would have got on the boat.
So would I. So I'm not hanging around here.
Yeah.
So I know I'm a soldier and everything, but I didn't sign up to die against this.
And what was the point in it? What was the point in staying so that they could save Middle Earth? Their entire species is leaving.
Yeah.
Who cares about Middle Earth? The place is literally in constant warfare.
I think it was more to do with the ancient pact because they'd all fought together. So the noise you can hear in the background is Chloe, the house dog.
The house dog. That's her official title.
It is. It's official mascot of the podcast.
Yeah, she's antsy today, so she's pacing around the house.
It's probably quite warm for her too. She's a Malamute, so
It's true.
Where was I?
Saying basically how it would be a very dangerous place to live. The elves kind of...
Them guys at Helm's Deep,
Yeah.
like, they get a raw deal.
Yeah, most of them leave. They're like, yeah, we're
Yeah.
going now. We'll leave you behind. And then, stupidly, someone will be like, we're going to stay. We're going to help. The humans won't win this war without us because we are the superior combatants.
Yeah.
Even though there's a lot less of us. So we'll stay. We'll help. They all die.
Yeah.
They all die. I don't think
Yeah.
any of them
Nope.
survive. Or very
Nope.
few.
No,
Very,
I
very
think they're
few.
all dead.
Yeah. It's not a good place to live, is it?
No.
Especially not like if you're the human race. I mean, there's a lot of humans in it,
Yeah.
but they are targeted because their cities are everywhere. They're targeted by Uruk-hai, orcs, any kind of monsters. Like in The Hobbit, if you go back a little further, dragons just flying through, destroying entire cities, just burning them to the ground.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not a safe place to live.
No, I mean, you go to the woods, you
Yeah.
go and have a stroll, you take a couple of skins of wine with you, you think, oh, I'll have a nice sit in the woods, I'll start a fire.
Yeah.
Right, so you cut down a bit of a tree,
Yeah.
burn it. Next thing you know, looking Ent,
You pissed
picking you
off
up, you just killed his son.
Yeah, you just pissed off an entire forest.
Exactly.
They're all just going to crush you.
Exactly.
Just drop a rock on you.
You can't even get you can't do anything in
Yeah.
this fucking place.
You go camping with your family, you wake up and you're like breakfast for some trolls.
Yeah.
Well, no, they usually sleep in the day, don't they? And then
Yeah,
they
well.
wake up at night, so you're getting eaten by trolls.
Yeah.
If
And
you're a dwarf, and you live in a cave. They come in, angry cave trolls.
Goblins and shit, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh man, it just sounds dangerous to me.
It does.
And I don't see a good side to this at all.
The only good side is if you're an elf.
Yeah.
A high-end elf, so you're like into politics and stuff. You're not really on the front lines, and then you decide to leave.
Yeah.
That's it. Because Middle Earth is dangerous, but the whole of like the Lord of the Rings world, I don't know what it's called, but there are places that are safe, aren't there? There's like a land where all the deities live, because that's what Gandalf is, isn't he? He floats around Middle Earth pretending like he's a wizard or whatever, but he's actually some sort of deity.
All right.
And I think he comes from that land where the elves are going to. And the reason why they're immortal, I think, is because they kind of go and live with their creators, which are like these gods or something, or deities. But they're like deities that live on Earth, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Gandalf was sent there to kind of try and stop Saruman. Is it? No, it's not Saruman. Sauron, isn't it?
Sauron. I always get them confused.
Yeah. Saruman's the other wizard, isn't he?
Yes.
The white wizard that teams up with him. They're kind of like... There's like these deity level beings, and their kind of job was to kind of just watch over.
Well, what, they're not doing a very good job then, are they?
No, they're not. Well,
everything's fucking on fire all the time.
Well, I've not read all the books, but I know bits and bobs. And Sauron was actually, there was like this really, really powerful kind of deity, and he decides that he doesn't like kind of being peaceful and kind and taking care of all these other creatures like the elves and the humans and stuff, and he decides he's going to take over. So he goes to this big massive plot of land which is Middle Earth. It's underdeveloped, the gods haven't really gone there, and he's like, I'm going to take all that for myself. And he becomes this big baddie, and I can't remember what his name is now. It's something like Malgoth or Malgroth,
I have no idea.
Morgoth or something. They end up sending all these gods to fight him. Gandalf, I think, is there, but he's quite young or whatever, and he goes by a different name. He gets defeated, and Sauron is actually his sort of lieutenant.
Oh, right.
And when he's thrown into like this abyss, and then afterwards Sauron's like, well, I've kind of learnt all this power, all these magic powers and everything from him. I could probably rule this place now.
Yeah.
So he takes over. So
you've always got the threat of a deity level being turning up and
yeah,
wanting to enslave you.
Yeah. Well, that's what Sauron basically is. He's basically nearly a deity, isn't he? Yeah. He's got that big glowy eye. Even after they kill him, they destroy his physical body. Yeah. He's so powerful, his soul can't be destroyed. So it's just stuck in that eye.
That's it, isn't it? It's like, well, okay.
Yeah. And even if you kill him, some other evil entity's going to probably rock up. If there's like deity level beings living on the planet, someone will take over.
Yeah. So let's sum it up.
It's a crap place to live.
Yeah. I mean, if you're a dwarf, you're getting shanked by a goblin in a cave.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're an elf...
Well, you're living in a cave. It's not ideal, is it?
Yeah, but they do have them big castles and shit.
Yeah, it does look pretty cool, I guess.
And they're mining, aren't they? They're weaponsmiths.
And you get a shit ton of gold.
Yeah. But you're going to get shanked by a goblin.
Yeah.
Or a troll.
An orc or a
troll. An orc.
Cave trolls.
Yeah.
Going berserk.
Exactly.
Not
right.
good.
You don't want that.
Yeah.
Elf, great.
Yeah.
Unless you get sent off to fight.
Yeah, if you're on the front lines. Unless you're Legolas, because he never dies.
Yeah, so it's only because Orlando Bloom can't act anything convincingly. He probably can't even act as a corpse convincingly.
He couldn't act.
He couldn't. Orlando Bloom is so bad an actor, he couldn't portray a corpse convincingly.
For anyone that doesn't know, Ben hates Orlando Bloom. I think he's alright.
He's a terrible actor.
You're saying he couldn't act to death scene?
I don't know, he couldn't act to death scene.
That's why they didn't kill him off.
He'd ham it up too much.
That's why they couldn't kill him off.
Yeah.
They tried to, and they were like, nah, just leave it.
Just leave it.
We'll make you have plot armor.
He doesn't even make a convincing dead body. Just fuck him off.
He's cool, man. He's like taking on Uruk-hai, skating down the stairs on their shield, taking out war elephants. He's cool as hell. War elephants as well.
Yeah, you don't want them. But I mean, they raiders turn up. You don't want that, do you?
Just rocking up on the battlefield. You're like, yeah, I'm the best guy in my platoon, but one of the best human warriors on the planet gets crushed by a giant elephant foot.
First 5 minutes.
Crushed by an elephant foot.
Everyone's just like, oh man, we expected so much from that guy.
Yeah, that guy who's going to kill like 50 Uruk-hai and then he gets crushed.
If you're a human, then you get a real shitty end of the stick, because if you're not forced into fighting and dying for your mad king constantly against other bunches of humans.
Or your hero king, you're still dying for a king.
Yeah. You're probably going to end up as an orc's rape toy.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, you're going to end up enslaved by orcs.
Yeah. Killed. I'm pretty sure that all the orcs and the Uruk-hai were actually elves. They're corrupt elves.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the thing as well. If you're an elf and you get captured, You get turned into an Urukai.
Yeah.
That's not great, is it?
No.
Or an orc.
And then if you're an orc, well, you're just used as cannon fodder.
Yeah, because it's just they
You've got no say about anything.
Yeah.
You're just cannon fodder. No one cares if you live or die.
I mean, can you remember any of them? Did he even have any names?
I honestly don't know. I just remember that one with the dodgy face because he was the general.
Yeah, I remember the one that ran. He was like, oh, he blew up the wall.
Oh, that was Fireball Jeff.
Fireball Jeff.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just like, oh, they were like, shoot him, and he just blew up the wall.
See? Legolas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He saves the day. He's a hero.
Well, he should have shot the dude dead, shouldn't he? Should have shot Fireball Jeff down.
He took down the war elephant.
The wall blew up, and most of the elves died at that point, so it's his fault. They got into the fortress in the first place, isn't it?
He took out his fair share.
Only because they got him because of him.
I think if you're an elf or a dwarf or a human and you have any kind of magic ability, then it's not too bad of a place to live. If you've got magic, it's not too bad of a place because chances are you're going to be stronger than most people you come into contact with because you've got that magic.
Actually, we were overlooking the really obvious one, is a hobbit. I mean...
it sucks to be a hobbit, doesn't it? I mean, it's really wonderful.
I don't know, they all look really happy to me in the movies.
Yeah, they do, but then you see that thing where, like, it shows you the Urukai come in and they just destroy the town and enslave them all.
Well, yeah, that's going to happen pretty quickly because the hobbit soldiers aren't going to be very effective
I don't think there is a hobbit militia.
No, I don't think there is.
Could you imagine?
They're just all pissed all the time, from what I've gathered.
Could you imagine? They're like so tiny. You'd have to give them tiny little spears and daggers.
Oh man, how long would a hobbit spear be?
It would probably be about a foot long, wouldn't it? It wouldn't be very because they're only about 3 foot tall, aren't they?
Yeah, they're not massive.
Yeah,
like children, aren't they? That's why they always seem to sneak them in places. Bit of a shitter if you get charged to sneak into Mount Doom, though, isn't it?
Good for killing a dragon, though. You can sneak up on it, assassinate it.
Poor dragon.
Yeah, it's not. Well, I was just going to say, it'd be ideal if you were a dragon, but then I would guess if you're a dragon, you're going to think you own the sort of world, so you can just fly into a country and terrorise it till someone eventually kills you.
Yeah, and the fact that everyone knows you've got a shit ton of gold.
Yeah.
So they're going to come looking for it. It only takes is one.
You got that addiction to gold, so you can't say no to it. Yeah. And the dwarfs love their gold, so you're like, well, just go take a dwarf kingdom out, live there. And then you got a bunch, like an army of dwarfs coming at you.
That's it. And you're like, it only takes one.
Yeah.
So I think that's all the bases covered.
Yeah, it's not. I wouldn't want to live there.
No.
It's cool in theory. The books are great. The films are great. But I wouldn't want to live there.
Nah.
It's not a safe place to live. And even if you've got abilities like you've got magic or you're a great swordsman, you're probably going to end up dead still.
Yeah, skewered.
Yeah, unless you got plot armor like Legolas.
Yeah, probably must be what it is.
It's because he's a terrific actor.
I'm not even going to dignify that with a response.
Right, on to the next one.
Okay, let's go to space. Star Trek.
Star Trek. If we were going to go to space, we should have went Star Wars because that's like better.
I don't mind them both.
Star Wars is better though.
Star Wars is marginally better, but I like The Next Generation.
No, yeah, Star Trek is alright.
Picard, from what I've seen of it, is pretty good. It's 24th century space communism. Everything you need is provided for you, and you can, if you really want to, and you're intelligent enough, you can go off and join Starfleet and go and explore the galaxy.
Yeah, the only real problem with that sort of universe, because we'll say universe because it's not really on a planet, is it? They travel all over the universe, is aliens. They're the main issue. All the people get on with each other. There's just a very few, like what's the cyborgy race?
Oh, the Borg.
The Borg.
Well,
they're a massive issue, aren't they?
They are, because they don't care who you are.
No, they just go around basically. They need to make their species. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I haven't watched this in ages. I've only seen a little bit with you, but they basically go around finding humans or alien species and just putting their sort of technology on them, making them a Borg member.
Yeah, assimilating them all into the collective. That's their objective.
Yeah. So that's not a great place to be, is it? If you're flying around anywhere where there's Borg ships, you're pretty screwed.
Yeah.
Other than that, and obviously there's been wars and stuff with it. Is it the Romulans?
The Romulans, Vulcans and Klingons.
Yeah.
I think they fought all of them.
So all
it's
three
the
of
Romulans
these...
you've got to watch out for.
Yeah.
The Klingons, you just got to be sort of careful what you say to them.
Just got to be treat them with respect and be honourable, haven't you, with the Klingons? They're kind of an uneasy peace, aren't they, most of the time with the Klingons?
Yeah, they just kind of like skirmish against them. They try not to piss them off too much, though,
Yeah.
and vice versa. And
So basically, out of all the alien races in the universe, the main sort of 4 sort of war ones, you can only even say 3 war ones, are the Vulcans. The Romulans are probably the worst, aren't they, for starting? They start full-on scale wars.
yeah,
don't
they sort of consider themselves to be superior,
the
to everybody
superior,
else.
perfect race, and the Vulcans are kind of like an offshoot of that, aren't they?
Yeah.
So they're kind of the same, but they're a little bit more peaceful, and they're not as violent and instigate, but they still do instigate sometimes.
Well, Spock give a killer chop.
Yeah, that's the Vulcan death chop, isn't
That's
it?
it. The Vulcan death grip as
Death
well.
grip, yeah. So and then obviously the Klingons, they're just a warrior race. They'll just fight anyone. They're not trying to get the sort of intergalactical domination. It's just
They just like to fight.
yeah, let's just fight. They're
Yeah.
basically like that drunk guy that in the bar that just thinks he can fight everyone.
That's it. Yeah.
That's all they are. They've had one too many. Like let's just fight it out.
Like an English tourist after a football match.
And then the 4th one's like the Borgs, which they're not really trying.
Thing is, they came in later, you see. So
Yeah.
they're like, for ages there was just like this. Oh yeah, there was wars, but you know it's all pretty peaceful. And then
Did someone create the Borg?
I don't know. They come from out of the galaxy. I can't remember the backstory on them.
Okay.
They just fly around assimilating planets.
Yeah. So
And
they're probably the
populations
biggest
and
threat. Then.
species.
They're the biggest
Yeah.
threat because they can
Yeah.
literally take over the entire universe if they
They
wanted
could
to.
do, and if it wasn't for Jean-Luc Picard,
Who's like the hero of the entire galaxy,
Yeah.
maybe possibly the universe. And let's just say this, considering he's like how old in the original one?
in the Next Generation, he was, I think he was 55.
He's
something like
55 and he can beat up like 3 Klingons.
that. Yeah.
Guy's a badass.
Yeah.
Let's just get that out there. The guy is a badass. He's not afraid to throw hands if he
No,
needs to.
nor was Kirk though. Kirk
Yeah.
was more of a punch first, ask some questions later.
Nothing wrong with that. If you're in space, you got to
Space punch.
Space punch. Yeah, you got to. Sometimes you got to.
But still, you know, living in the society though
Yeah.
would be great. I mean,
Yeah.
you've only got to go to you've only got to go to the Federation if you want. You join Starfleet if you want to.
Seems like if you work hard and you're kind of an honourable, caring person, you can work your way up the ranks and
Yeah.
become a captain. So
Yeah.
there's no need to fight over resources. You can treat
That's
each
it.
other well, respectfully. Not
Space
into-
communism.
Yeah. The only communism that works.
Yeah, funnily enough.
Yeah.
Apart from China, that's kind of Soviets for a bit.
Yeah, for a little bit. But yeah, that one.
Vietnam's still going.
That one would be a pretty safe one to
Yeah.
live in. You could get to see plenty of planets.
That's it. I mean, you can.
If you join the Federation, it wouldn't even cost you anything because you can do it for your job. So you
Yeah.
can literally travel all over the universe, all over the galaxy. So that's pretty awesome. See some sights for free. It's like
Yeah.
joining the army, isn't it? But
Yeah, but
less dangerous.
Yeah, because I mean, remember all these Starfleet, they're not a ship. They're not ships of war. They're
Yeah.
ships of exploration.
Yeah, so it's like joining the army, but less dangerous. You can travel the world, you can see some sights, travel
Yeah.
the universe, see as many planets as you want without getting blown up.
And what happens
Usually.
on the holodeck stays
Stays
on the
holodeck. Yeah, always important.
Yeah.
So the only real worry is accidentally bumping into Borgs or Vulcans or Romulans
That's
and
it.
pissing them off.
Yeah, but if you're out there exploring, yeah, that's dangerous. But space is fucking huge. Your chances of actually finding something,
Yeah,
you'd think, would be quite remote.
yeah, I think that's worth pointing out. Like when you watch the show, and I haven't watched the show in years. I know you enjoy watching it again and again every couple of years. But when you watch the show, you have to understand, especially when you watch the Next Generation with Picard, is that he is like this kind of hero that unfortunately is forced into these situations of battle and war and stuff.
Yeah.
The average sort of, like, I would imagine, captain wouldn't bump into these people very often, wouldn't bump into the Vulcans very often,
No.
they wouldn't get, and if they did, they wouldn't get into these altercations very often. So it's only because he's unlucky, but it's also lucky that it happens to him, because then he
more- yeah.
saves everyone.
Well, he's more of a diplomat, but he knows
Yeah.
how to fight, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He's,
So he's lucky. Well, he's not lucky because that sort of stuff's not great to be happening, having your ship attacked. But he's lucky it happens to him because he can save the day.
he's always there.
Yeah.
I'd live in the Star Wars universe. Star Trek
Star
universe.
Trek.
Yeah, I'd live in the Star Trek universe.
Yeah, I think I would as well. I don't think I'd want to be a captain though.
Oh no, I'd just chill around getting my 24th century communism thing on.
Yeah, it seems like too much work to be captain, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Much easier just to be like maybe one of the higher ups, be promoted a little bit, then just kind of rest on your laurels a little bit, go to the holodeck whenever you feel like it, have some fun,
Yeah.
hit on some alien chicks every now and
That's
then.
it.
That sounds great to me.
Yeah.
Just sitting down, smoking cigars every now and then.
I didn't know if they do smoke in that universe. I don't think I've ever seen anybody smoke in that.
Nah.
Mate, there must be someone who does.
They probably don't, because I would imagine the TV show was created so that families would watch it.
Yeah.
So, and at that point, they probably weren't pushing smoking because of the science.
Well, in the 60s, I suppose. I don't know.
Science
60s
was there a little bit more.
I can remember cigarette advertising as a kid. They didn't get rid of it that
Was
long
it in
ago.
the 60s?
The original was set in the 60s. Was in the 60s.
Next
with
Generation?
Shatner. No,
Oh,
Shatner
no, yeah,
was
the
like
one with
in this.
Shatner, yeah. Well, maybe they smoked in that one. Can you remember
No,
that
I have
one?
no idea.
Did you watch that one much?
Not as a kid, but
Yeah.
I prefer the Next Generation.
Yeah.
Don't mind the new movies, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're okay.
Yeah.
Okay, then, what should we go for next?
Moving on to the next one.
Yeah.
Star Wars.
Star Wars, then. We don't know much about the society of Star Wars, the average society of a planet. Naboo looked pretty affluent.
Yeah, this is the thing. We've had like what 7, 8 films altogether. So
Yeah.
there's like 9 films now, isn't it? Because there's like there's Solo.
Oh, well, remember, you got your 9 and
there's
main Skywalker saga, and then...
there's Solo, Rogue One,
Yeah,
and then there's the Mandalorian series, which is
Yeah.
fantastic. We definitely recommend you watch that.
yeah.
Definitely. But it seems basically like we were saying this the other day. They're definitely the Mandalorian. Is a lot of the time it's like it's almost like a western.
Well, yeah, it is.
Isn't
It's
it?
a space western.
Yeah, but it's not just the Mandalorian. You get that feel in Star Wars as well. There's a lot of
Yes.
sort of dusty planets, isn't there, where there's not really much resources, and there's lots of deserts and gunslinging. Sort of you go into these sort of
Hannon is a gunslinger, isn't he? You know, he's got
yeah,
that
he is.
pistol on his hip.
Yeah, yeah. It's like when they go into the bars, they're all very saloony, aren't they? And yeah, it just seems like, just like in a western, everyone seems to die except for the main sort of characters. Unless you're great with a blaster, or you're a Jedi, you're screwed basically, aren't you?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I think if you live in like one of the central sort of areas of maybe like the Empire,
Yeah.
even as the Empire or the Republic before or the Republic
Yeah.
after, you're probably okay.
Yeah.
But you just live a normal life, and you've got the technology to make sure you live longer, because the tech's, it's a long ago in a galaxy far, far away, but somewhere in the future.
Yeah.
And then people are human. Most people are human.
Yeah.
But they just live a normal life, don't they? Unless you get called up to fight for the Empire,
Yeah.
or
That's
they
not
decide to
great.
destroy your world. But I mean, Alderaan must have sucked to live on Alderaan when the Death Star blew it up. You're like, oh, I was all for the Empire.
You got blown up anyway.
That's it, isn't it?
You didn't get a choice. It's like, I voted for you. Blow him up anyway.
That's even. No.
Yeah. I was pro-Empire. My planet.
Make Empire great again.
Yeah.
You got Mega.
But yeah, it's like you said, some of these planets, when they're not in times of war, like Naboo, is a pretty good.
It's a nice place.
Yeah, it's a pretty good place to live. And some of the other planets they visit, pretty good place to live.
Yeah.
But in times of war, not so great.
It's not so great if you're a slave, though, out on the outer rim.
There's
is
a
it?
lot of slavery in that, isn't there?
It's like
A lot
on the
of
outer
slavery.
rim where the Republic's reach or the Empire's reach isn't as
I
strong
think-
because they're not so important.
Yeah. I think the Empire let it go on because it's a little bit corrupt, isn't it?
Probably, yeah.
With the Empire, it's kind of crazy because the Empire are the bad guys, yet they kind of do a slightly better job at ruling the galaxy, don't they?
Do they?
They do really, because like when
the Republic seemed to work for a long time until Palpatine got in, Jar Jar voting him, nominating him for the position of fucking High Chancellor.
Jar Jar just shouldn't have been in those films.
No,
He's-
let's not go down
We
that Jar Jar
can't
route.
talk about
No.
Jar Jar. It's still, even after all this time, it's still a sore
No,
subject.
because I'll be on it for a long time.
That's another reason why you wouldn't want to live in that universe. Because
Yeah, because Gungans everywhere.
yeah, if you bumped into a Gungan, that's it.
Oh no! Are you going to get rid of him? Because
You'd be branded a racist as well, because you'd be like, not fucking Gungans again.
Fucking hate Gungans, are you bloody racist? What's up with the Gungans? They're alright, my mate's a Gungan.
But they're annoying.
I've got lots of Gungan friends, I just find them annoying.
Especially Jar Jar.
Especially Jar Jar,
Yeah.
whose fault all of this is.
Yeah, he was created to be annoying, I think, so that people
Created
would
to sell
remember him.
toys.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. I think that the Empire did kind of, they made it a better place to live, didn't they?
No, because they were at war. They were fighting the rebellion still for 20 years.
I mean, they were corrupt. They were definitely corrupt.
But they were always at war.
Yeah, because...
And then they stopped cloning people and just started kidnapping children.
They were always at war because the Republic kept starting fights with them.
Because they didn't want to live under a Sith dictatorship.
Some dictatorships work quite well. That one, yes, it was...
So when the Empire turns up and steals your children to use as cannon fodder in some shitty war...
This is why none of them...
Is that alright?
This is why none of them can aim, because they're like, I didn't sign up for this.
That's it.
They ripped me from my family at 4.
Or you're mentally fucking tortured and broken down and reprogrammed.
Do you think that's why they can't aim? Because they're taken from their family at like 3 or 4, and then they rapidly age them. So it's just like a giant 4-year-old. Yeah. The super roids. It's just like a giant 4-year-old with a blaster.
Apparently, it's something they can't hit because they're the clones are just blanks, aren't they?
I've heard that
they can't shoot at people who are force sensitive or something like that.
Yeah, force sensitivity means they can't aim very well.
Yeah.
They struggle to focus, so they can't aim. With normal people, they can hit them apparently.
Yeah, because like episode 4, Kenobi goes, only Imperial stormtroopers are this accurate, and you're like, are they?
They've never hit a thing in their life.
Not for what I've seen, Ben.
Yeah, nobody's died. Not a single person has died by a stormtrooper.
That's it, and you've got to be a really unlucky rebel soldier.
Yeah.
Although in Rogue One, there's those cool black stormtrooper armoured dudes.
Yeah, but they're elites, aren't they?
Yeah, so they can actually hit people.
They rock up in The Mandalorian, don't they?
I think they do at some point, yeah.
When they're stuck in that thing and they bring out that giant machine gun thing.
Yeah.
They're setting it up and they're like, we'll give you a day to think about it. I'm like, don't give them a day to think about it. That gives them a day to get away. Spoiler, sorry. And then that's what happens. They get away.
They just blow the fucking hell out the place.
Just say, give up now. You've got 3 minutes because it takes 3 to 5 minutes to set this up. But yeah, it's not a great place to live, is it? I personally think that the Empire, despite it being a ruthless dictatorship, the reason why I say this is because the Republic were in charge for a long time, and every planet they go to is dusty as fuck.
Yeah.
Everything's falling apart. It's like they've got super high-tech doors that open up and all that, but then they've got signs that are falling off the wall. You can't get a screwdriver and tighten it up. It's because the Republic don't give a shit. They don't give a shit.
They're the good guys, man.
They are the good guys, and you want to root for them, but you've got to admit all the planets go to shit.
The Republic was perfectly fine. It ran the galaxy for hundreds of years.
All I'm saying is when it was the Empire, they had a giant Death Star. They had that level of technology.
They had 2.
Exactly.
No one should have that much power.
No, but they had that, and it looked all shiny and new.
That's no moon.
What did the Republic put up? I didn't see a single bit. Did you see any new houses being built? No.
I bet they were doing like they were too busy. They were on a war economy.
Yeah, exactly. Every time they take over, the economy goes in the trash.
They're on war economy. They were always making X-wings.
The Empire was on war economy. They get wiped out. They disappear for
They don't pay their soldiers.
They get wiped out. They disappear for like 20, 30 years. And he comes back. He's back to life. And he's got an entire freaking fleet.
Spoilers.
Yeah. He's got
all of them were Death Stars.
Yeah. They were like, oh
Death
no,
Star
each
weapons.
one of these can destroy a planet. And there's like 500 of them.
Yeah.
That's how much money he had. And he was funneling that into all the world's economies. The Republic were like, nah, we don't want to be told what to do. Fuck it.
We don't want 500 travelling Death Star ships.
Do you want to know what it is? Basically, it's a space western. They're the cowboys that don't want to do what the law says. So the Jedi, if you break down the Jedi sort of thing, they're all freaking nuts. They are the heroes, but they're nuts, aren't they? They literally like, okay, so we want to be good, we want to be honourable, we want to take care of everyone, but you can't have feelings, you can't get married. If you have any feelings, negative or positive, they could corrupt you, so feel nothing.
Yeah.
It's like, that's a cult.
Yeah, so is the Sith.
No, but the Sith are like, okay, you're human, you have feelings, let them in. And yeah, they're like, let the negativity fuel you, but how often has negativity fueled greatness? We have great music because of it.
Yeah.
We have great art because of it.
It's also fueled genocide.
Oh, it does. It does.
I think making... Oh, yeah, well, tell you what. In Utero by Nirvana, 94. Pure ranks, that album. Pure rage. Yeah, Shawn. The Holocaust. 6 million people dead.
Yeah, I am not saying that's a good thing. I'm not saying.
I think you have a flimsy argument at that point.
I'm not saying all of the murders that the Empire gets through is a good thing. All I'm saying is the planets look a
They're
lot.
wiping out 14 billion people at a time.
I'm not saying it's a great sort of structure. I'm not saying it doesn't have flaws.
I mean, all right. In theory, no one else should rebel now because, hey, they've just destroyed 14 billion people on the planet they were on.
But they still do.
With one shot.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's great. All I'm saying is that the planets that completely do whatever they say and go under the Empire's thumb, they're thriving. You see that in the films that they're thriving.
Are they?
They're under military control.
Oh, great. So I'm coming home late one night from the fucking cantina, right? Staggering back, I'm just a dust farmer, like Uncle Owen.
Yeah.
A moisture farmer, like
Yeah.
Uncle Owen.
Yeah.
I've had a few.
What the
too
hell's a
many.
moisture farmer?
I don't know.
I've always wondered that. Nobody questions it.
No. So and I'm stumbling back to my speeder. 'Cause
Yeah.
I've had a few.
Yeah.
You're a bit late. Next thing I know, I've got Imperial stormtroopers rocking up. Excuse me, ID.
Yeah.
Oh, worse than an American cop, these fuckers. Right?
Too soon for that. Too soon for that joke. Carry on.
Right, so I hand them my ID.
Yeah.
They look at it and go, "Well, where you been? I've been in the cantina."
Yeah.
"Oh, you're drunk." "Well, yeah, I am, but I live in the desert. I can't eat anything. It's once I'm out of town, that's it.
Yeah.
I'll be fine." And they just go, "Nah, sorry," and shoot you in the face.
They wouldn't shoot you. They just arrest you and throw you in jail for 10
Oh,
years.
great. What's an Empire prison look like?
I would imagine it's quite fancy, to be fair.
Really? Do you think I've got a Star Wars version of an Xbox and whatever Sky on, have I? No, they're beating me every day and making me do hard labour.
In all likelihood, let's admit it, they would force you to become a stormtrooper.
Probably.
They would force
They'd
you into military service.
Yeah. They'd mind wipe me and throw me into the fucking stormtroopers as cannon fodder.
And it'd be so, your mind would be so broken, you wouldn't be able to hit anything.
Exactly.
And that's the story.
And then I get impaled by some lightsaber one day.
Yeah. Now who's the bad guy? You, the poor innocent guy, or the Jedi that just cut you in half?
I wouldn't be in that position if I lived in a fair society. If it wasn't controlled by a military dictatorship.
All I'm saying...
By an evil wizard.
All I'm saying is that the Jedi had their chance, the Republic had their chance, and every time they seem to
Things were going pretty well until bloody the Sith got involved, mate.
I mean, were they? We've seen all the films.
Yes, it was. Everything was good. They were so peaceful, they didn't even have an army. The Jedi just go out and mediate disputes and everything was peaceful.
All I'm saying...
Palpatine rocks up, ruins it for everybody.
I love winding you up and stuff like that. All I'm saying is that the Jedi are a little bit crazy.
Yes, but there's a lot of crazy people.
They turn up, they say this kid has Force sensitivity, and they just take him. They took a kid.
But everyone knows that going to be a Jedi means you're going to have an awesome life and a laser sword.
They brainwashed him and told him he couldn't be with the woman he loved. Which, by the way, she was a bit of a pedo, let's be honest. She was.
Well, maybe everyone just thought, he's never going to bang her. She's got 20 years on him.
Yeah, that didn't seem to stop him, did it?
No.
But they brainwash him and they wonder why he goes crazy and kills everyone in the cult. It's because they brainwashed this unstable... They said at the beginning, when they interviewed him, he's too unstable. Why'd you let an unstable child with a lot of power into your cult and give him a lightsaber?
Because
train him. Because
the idea is to improve him as a person, make him more well-rounded, be at one with the Force.
How did that work out for him?
Well, everything was going okay until creepy Grandpa Palpatine fucking steps in and starts going, because he knows that Anakin's got a bit of doubt. He can feel it in the old Force. And he's like, did I ever tell you about Darth Plagueis the Wise? He could bring people back to life. Oh, was it possible to learn that? Oh, not from a Jedi, no, but
from a Sith Lord.
Maybe if you sort of scratch my back, I'll scratch yours.
That makes it sound even creepier.
Well, I used to say what happened between them. They were alone a lot.
All I'm saying...
Especially as Vader.
All I'm saying is it seemed like the Republic didn't really know what to do every time they won a fight. They seemed to go in, win a fight, and then leave the planet to its own devices. It's like, sorry, we just had this giant battle, galactic battle in your atmosphere and on the ground, which I don't know why they need to fight on the ground when they can just fight in the sky.
You're still going to take these places
With teddy bears.
Oh, we moved away now. We're onto the so Endor.
I'm just trying to wind you up.
Don't talk to me about Endor. You weren't there, man.
I'm just trying to wind you up, and I know the Ewoks piss you off.
Right.
But yeah, it just seems like they just caused devastation, and then like, we're really sorry. We'd love to fix this war-torn planet we've just created. Now we've won this battle that the Empire started. We didn't start it, by the way, but we're out of finances. We need to go fight another war. So good luck with that, mate. And they fuck off, and you're there with your spear and your tiny little teddy bear feet.
And an irradiated forest because that Death Star went critical, blew up, and bits of radioactive metal are streaming down onto your planet's surface.
And you're just there with your little spear and your teddy bear paws and legs, and you're like, why is my fur falling off?
Oh, your skin's blistering.
And then Han Solo's like, don't worry, buddy, we'll come back. And he never fucking comes back. He never comes. Actually, I do think he comes back. I think there's a comic or some shit, and he comes back in that with Chewie. I can't remember, to be fair. Yeah, who cares? They're Ewoks.
Yeah.
We're not coming across as great here. We're insulting Gungans and Ewoks.
All Gungans matter.
A tangent aside, I think we can agree, unless you're a Jedi or a Sith, it's a pretty crap place to live. Or if you work as, say, a stormtrooper and you're really low level and you don't see any of the action.
Oh, you just stuck on some. What if you just get stuck on a peaceful planet?
Well, I was going to say,
you just be trotting around then every day.
I was going to say the two Mandalorian, the two stormtroopers in the Mandalorian. They're like low level and they don't see any action and they're sat in their ass all day just basically talking shit. Yeah. That would be awesome, and I think they should make a spin-off show of them. Now, I was going to say that's pretty fun and pretty safe, and you just walk around looking like a badass as a stormtrooper. But then, spoiler, they get the shit kicked out of them. Their arm broke. So even the low level ones seem to get beat up.
Yeah, don't punch Baby Yoda.
Yeah, that's the moral of the story. That's a reason why you'd want to live there, just for Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
I'd want to go to the Star Wars universe and just steal Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
Become a bandit or a mercenary.
Or just go to the planet and find and adopt one that's meant to be an orphan.
I think that like Yoda's like the last one and they've cloned him. That's my theory.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out.
We'll find out like season 4 probably.
Yeah.
Because they're going to stretch that story arc. Because who doesn't want to see more Baby Yoda, let's be honest. I could watch that guy for 7 seasons and not get bored. Right, should we move on?
Yes. So would we live in the Star Wars universe?
No, I think, unless we're a Jedi.
No.
Or Sith.
Or I'm just on one of those peaceful planets and who's accepted Empire rule and just left to get on with their own devices as long as they pay their tithe.
Or you're a cocky gunslinging
smuggler.
Smuggling bandit that woos all the ladies and
you're travelling around with your 6-foot dog.
Yeah, and for some reason you have plot armor because you somehow miraculously haven't been killed in the meantime because you have no lightsaber. You're fighting guys that have blasters, multiple guys have blasters, and you've just got Chewie. Who uses
Chewie's worth like 4 dudes.
Yeah, man. But he's worth like 8, but he's got a crossbow.
He's got I can't remember what they call that. But yeah, it's a bowcaster. It's a laser gun.
It's freaking awesome to be fair.
Just looks like a crossbow. It's it's Wookiee design, man.
Yeah.
Who are you to fault Wookiee design?
You're like, I see you don't like Wookiees either.
They're 6-foot dogs.
Yeah, they're awesome. I want a Wookiee friend.
So unless you're Han Solo.
Yeah.
Or Chewie.
To be fair though, all of Chewie's race pretty much gets wiped out though, don't they? There's like him and like 7 others.
Yeah, but still.
They survive like mass genocide, which I think Darth Vader does.
Oh, man.
So it's a bit of a dick move.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah. It's not a good place to live, really.
No, you always got that risk of someone coming down and wiping out your population, haven't you?
Or you're just like, you know what? I'm having a great day today. Nothing could be ruined. And then you just see this giant laser come down. Your planet gets blown up. Yeah. You don't even see it happening. You're like, why is the moon out? Are we supposed to have an eclipse today?
What's up with that moon? And then you just like pew, and it just comes into the ground right between your legs.
Boom!
And then you just you see the big pulse come down at you. You're like,
you get vaporized. It's like what was the film we were on about the other day? Independence Day.
Yeah.
When they're stood right under that
That's it.
skyscraper and they just go, oh, and then boom. Let's move on, yeah?
Alright, yeah. Alright, so let's do Shawn's favourite.
My favourite.
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter. Doesn't seem too bad. I mean, life you and I live it is just as it happens anyway.
Unless you're with
if you live in 21st century Britain,
Yeah.
life's just as it is now.
Yeah. Unless you're...
And if you're a wizard, then you get to see all the other cool shit. But you have got fucking dementors that'll try and steal your soul.
Yeah,
You have got a
this is the
Dark
problem.
Lord cropping up now and again.
Yeah, it seems like every 100 years or something a new dark wizard appears.
Despite the best efforts of the school systems.
It's ridiculous as well because it always seems like the dark wizards are always like way stronger than the good wizards. Like in the film, they're all the only like notable, strong wizard is Dumbledore.
Yeah.
And he's like the only guy apparently that can hold his own against Voldemort. Yet there's like a ton of dark wizards that serve under Voldemort. They're like really heavy hitters.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait a sec, why is it he kind of attracts all these super powerful wizards that are like evil, and then he is like super strong to the point where none of these good wizards can stand a chance against him?
I think it's like there's more good wizards than bad wizards.
Yeah, I guess.
Does that work?
I guess.
I don't know my Harry Potter lore as well as you.
I would. I like how you stuck that one in there. I grew up as a kid reading the books. Yeah, it seems like I know some of the history, not loads. There's some proper like Potterheads, I think they're called.
I always think you're a bit of a moron if you like on your Facebook bio you put your Harry Potter house.
Oh yeah.
Like if you're,
I'm a Hogwarts.
I'm a Hogwarts.
I'm a Slytherin.
Who's a Hufflepuff? No one wants to be a Hufflepuff. I wouldn't want to be a Hufflepuff.
You'd be a Hufflepuff.
I would not be a Hufflepuff.
You like plants enough, you'd be a Hufflepuff.
I'd be a Slytherin.
You like plants enough, you'd be a Hufflepuff.
Why are they all stoners?
You would be. You'd be standing there all to the other Hufflepuffs. You'd be like, look, I grew this really good shit.
So I don't know this. Is there a thing with that? Is the Hufflepuffs, so they're like the people who do plants and potions?
Yeah, they
and
grow plants. No, Slytherin like to do potions.
Right.
The Slytherins, because they're sort of headmaster. That's Chloe walking around again. The headmaster's the potion master.
Yeah.
The Hufflepuff, well, not headmaster, the head of house.
Head of house,
The
right.
head of house of Hufflepuff is the herbalist.
Yeah.
teacher.
Okay. Right.
So that's why I'm not sure what the Gryffindor one's McGonagall, but I don't know what she does. To be fair, I don't know what she teaches. I'd imagine she probably teaches history or something.
I've no
Magical
idea.
history,
no,
maybe.
I have no idea, to be honest.
So but the Hufflepuffs they like their potions and stuff,
Right.
and mixing stuff. So and flowers and plants and stuff. The Slytherins they like their sort of poisons and transformation stuff and
I'd go for some of that.
polyjuice potion or whatever it is, so you can pretend to be whoever you want for a day.
I'd fucking go for that. Yeah.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want then, can you?
Yeah, I'm definitely down.
You'd use that for evil, wouldn't you?
Yeah. I'd be a dark wizard. Fuck
Yeah,
it,
you
why
would
not?
be.
I'd be a Death Eater.
Get a Dementor friend.
Yeah.
Try and tame one.
No, I'd just get one, take him out of the piss.
Yeah, they're not great, are they? The fact
They
that
are an occupational hazard.
Yeah, if you're a dark wizard and you're not very good at it and you get captured by a much stronger... I think they call them Auroras. They're like the major combatants. They're your top tier good wizards. That I think Harry Potter becomes one at the end of the books.
I have no idea.
And I think he does in the films as well, I can't remember. But basically they go around and they hunt all the dark wizards and capture them and throw them in the prison of Azkaban or whatever, which is where all the Dementors live.
Yeah.
And if you try and escape then, because obviously if you're a dark wizard, you can't just put them in a building, can you?
No, you're gonna have some kind of threat.
Yeah, they'll just blow their way out, won't they? If you're like one of the most powerful, if you're like the 12th most powerful wizard on the planet and you're a dark wizard, you're not going to be held back by a building and a few mages, are you?
No, do they ever get out though, the Dementors, and just go off and steal someone's soul
Yeah,
now
they
and
do.
again?
Yeah, I think
that's
they
no
do.
fucking good, then, is it?
Yeah, I think the reason why they stay mostly in Azkaban is because the good wizards basically promise them like infinity souls, basically.
Yeah, right.
Because every time a dark wizard gets out, they can eat them. They're allowed to eat them.
Yeah.
So they can just constantly, and I think they get enough sustenance just by sucking a little bit of your soul out. You've seen that when they get attacked and they just kinda suck a little bit of your sort of life force out.
Well, that's it, but I think they just keep on feeding if they could.
Yeah, I think that's what they do. Whenever your prisoner steps out of line, the Dementor just goes in, just sucks a little bit of their life force, and then flies out again. It's terrifying, isn't it?
Yeah.
And if you're a dark wizard and you're really powerful, there isn't a lot that's going to be able to stop you, but that thing can basically attack your life force, and unless you're an incredibly powerful wizard, you can't stop it. You've not got your wand on you, so there's nothing you can do.
Always carry your wand.
Always carry a wand.
But also, let's remember that if you go into the fucking woods,
Yeah.
then you've got giant spider.
Oh yeah, you probably wouldn't go to the woods just
No,
for that.
not go in the woods for
Giant
that.
spider.
Giant spider. Don't deal well with that.
No. With all of her spider children.
Yeah, there's a shit ton of them.
Yeah.
Right, all ranging in size.
Yep.
Not going for that.
No.
And you've got like a fucking griffin thing trotting around.
Yeah.
Right, but there's also a unicorn.
Yeah. There's a lot of magical beasts. There's
Oh
like
yeah, you got all the magical beasts.
Yeah.
And they're probably not that friendly.
a lot of them aren't. Well, there's the films. I'm guessing you haven't seen them.
No.
Yeah. The magical beast films basically.
No, I haven't seen
No.
them.
Yeah. There's two of them. I wouldn't say they're not friendly. They're just wild. They're just wild animals with a lot more power than sort of our normal animals.
Yeah.
So that makes them a lot more dangerous force.
I wouldn't fancy getting gored to death by a griffin.
The
That beak's gonna go straight into your gut, rip your intestines out. I mean, that's not a nice way
no,
to
it's
go.
not a nice way to go. The two magical beast movies. There's a guy called Newt Salamander. He's the main character, and he's basically wrote in the original Harry Potter books. They actually study the magical beasts with the book he's wrote.
All right.
'Cause he's from the past, so these films are like based in like the 80s or whatever. These two with the magical beast ones, and it just shows you him basically going around collecting all the magical beasts, and a lot of them, they're not sort of all violent murderous creatures. They get scared, so they just attack first.
Yeah.
And because he's so calm, he's kind of like the beast whisperer sort of thing. So he's got like an entire sort of like building, sort of magical sort of
Be my autobiography, that would.
what?
The Beast Whisperer.
The beast whisperer. He's basically got this sort of extra sort of dimensional thing warp where he keeps them all.
Yeah.
So where he keeps his sort of collection of them.
Seems a bit cruel. Should we just let them roam free?
Oh, I think he usually just takes care of them till they're better and then lets them roam free. But there's a few that he keeps indefinitely, I think.
So he's like Carol Baskin.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
But
Well, I'm already bored of Harry Potter.
yeah, I knew you would be. It seems like it would be a pretty good place to live if you were a wizard and the Dark Lord of that generation, whether it be Voldemort or whichever the one was before. I can't remember his name now. Bob, we'll call him Bob.
Yeah.
But it seems like if that Dark Lord has just been killed,
You get born.
and there's no significant Dark Lord wizards that are powerful enough to take his spot, it would be the perfect time to be a good wizard.
Yeah.
Or the perfect time to be a very talented dark wizard.
Either way.
Because you can take his spot. So, other than that,
But it is worth noting that all the dark wizards always lose, so why would you want to be one?
I've never understood that. Well, I do understand it because that's why they write it. They write it so the good guy wins. But these dark wizards are like all heavy hitters, so why do they lose against these less notable characters?
Yeah.
Like there's one, I can't remember her name now. She's like the most powerful female sort of villain in the films. Like I can't remember.
Is it
her name.
that one who Eleanor Bonham Carter is it?
I think so, with the really scraggly hair.
Yeah.
And she's like the strongest sort of female bad sort of witch or whatever, and she gets trashed by Ron's mom, who's like a stay-at-home mom. And it's like,
wasn't Ron's mum, weren't the Weasleys like part of the original Dumbledore killing crew?
I'm not sure to be
The
fair.
Weasleys and the Potters and all that, weren't they all like part of the Order of the Phoenix or something?
Yeah, I think.
So they were like already, she's like Commando Mom.
But I don't think the dad's that strong. I'm pretty sure, I can't remember, but I think in the books he nearly dies because he's not that strong. But the mom's a beast apparently. This stay-at-home mom could have been like one of the strongest auroras of all time. She takes out like one of the most deadliest witches on the planet.
Yeah.
You're like, why are you a stay-at-home mom? Go kick some ass. We need you on the front lines.
Get out there, you daft bins.
Throw her out the window. Go kill Voldemort for us. We need you on the front lines. Fuck Harry Potter.
Specky twat.
Yeah, he can't even find his glasses half the time. But yeah, Harry Potter would be a good place to kind of grow up and live if you were a wizard and you just wanted to learn magic and just travel the world and have fun with your magic. Become a professional Quidditch player. That would be an awesome
be
job.
alright, yeah.
It's safe.
Not really.
It's pretty safe.
It's not.
Yeah, some of them die, don't they? So
Yeah.
they fall from their proof. Okay, it's not 100% safe then. And they have the beaters and the bludgeons, so they have this bat where they hit it at you, don't they?
Yeah, that's
they hit
it.
the ball towards you. You get knocked out with one of them. That's going to hurt like hell.
Yeah, then you're just falling off your wand. I mean,
Yeah.
alright,
Off your wand.
off your wand, off your broom. But
Yeah.
then again, I'm sure one of the teachers in the class will stop you dying.
Yeah. Well, if you're a professional, you'd like to think someone catches you.
Well, that's
if you're
it,
a pro,
yeah.
because they got like pro players. It's like football.
Football!
Ah. But yeah, I would imagine it would be a fun place to live if you weren't notable or important. If you had,
Like most of these places then, really.
Yeah, if you had-
apart from Lord of the Rings.
if you had Lord of the Rings is great. If you had above average magical ability and you got like a job as a low level aurora and you just travelled around and did like simple tasks that you got paid for and you could do magic, then it would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
But if you've got to hunt dark wizards, it's not a great job, is it?
Nah.
Not a great world to live in.
No.
Yeah, that is not probably. I wouldn't pick that one to live in just for the fact that there's always seems to be a dark wizard ruining it for everyone.
It's always the way of things, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? But you can't have good storytelling without a villain, I guess.
No, this is true. What should we do next?
Underworld?
Underworld. Vampires versus werewolves in an everlasting war.
And interestingly enough, it's one of the few where they actually write the werewolves as immortal as well. Because usually it's just vampires are immortal and werewolves usually have just an extended lifespan. But in those films, they're immortals.
Right, so why are they fighting?
They're fighting because they're fighting because a long time ago, when the vampires were in charge, they were basically like a super beings. So it goes really far back to like when there was just like two immortal. I think there was one immortal, and he had two sons.
Right.
And the one was like bit by a bat, and one was bit by a werewolf.
Well, that's just really bad parenting.
Or something like that, and it gave.
That is appalling parenting.
Yeah.
Why is he letting his children be attacked by wild animals?
I don't know. I don't know if they're attacked by them or they eat them or they gain the powers of them anyway. The son that is bitten by the vampire or whatever
Becomes a vampire.
He becomes a vampire with no negative sort of effects. So he can bite other humans, turn them into vampires, and they serve him loyally.
Yeah.
And he's sort of like this vampire boss. It's awesome. There's no negativity to it. His brother, on the other hand...
Oh, about the people he's bitten to serve him? That doesn't sound like a very nice life.
Yeah, because if you're one of the first ever bit, you become a vampire lord. It's awesome for you. If you're one of the sort of 5 or 6, they're the ones in the films that they get woken up to be in charge every couple of 100 years.
Oh, right.
And then they rotate out. So if you're one of them, it's awesome.
Well, yeah.
And then one of them will then bite someone else, who then becomes one of their lieutenants. It's like an intricate army system.
Okay.
So you got your head sort of guy who actually is just, he rotates out like the other vampire
This is a
lords.
pyramid scheme.
Yeah, it's a vampire pyramid scheme. So you got this immortal vampire that creates like 5 or 6 others, and there he basically creates a system where it's like, we're the lords, we're in charge, even though he's in charge. He's the oldest, he's the strongest. But he's like, every couple of 100 years we'll go to sleep and we'll cycle out. So there's only one of us in charge. Makes it hard to kill us all. It means there's always a leader alive.
Yeah.
So they cycle out, and that's what happens. And there's no conflict then as well, because you haven't got 2 high-level vampires fighting for power.
Yeah,
So
true.
it's clever.
Good idea.
Yeah, it's clever. The brother, on the other hand, gets turned into a mad berserker werewolf for no thought or reason. So he gets shafted, basically.
Yeah.
And then what he does is he's like this massive berserking rage. He just goes around biting other humans at random, trying to eat them, and creates mass amounts of werewolves that can't turn back into humans.
That's a shitter.
Yeah. So then the vampires, because the humans are basically their slaves, their servants, these vampire lords, they obviously want their food stocks protected.
Yeah,
They don't want to get wiped out by these berserker werewolves. So they go on a mass hunting, trying to wipe out all these werewolves, and then try and capture the sort of king werewolf so they can put him away in a prison forever. Not kill him, because he's the brother of their sort of their leader. Throw him in jail for all eternity, so he's not causing any havoc, not causing all these super beasts that are really hard to kill. Problem is when they're killing one of these werewolves, one of them was pregnant.
Right.
And they give birth to a human who can then shift between the two.
Okay, right.
And
At
that
will? Or just when there's a moon?
At will. Eventually he learns to do it at will.
Wow.
And he is the one, you remember in the films, he's the leader of the werewolves?
Yeah.
That's him.
Right, okay.
I can't remember what his name, but that's him. He is the original werewolf that can shift.
Right.
And after that, the vampires then think, great, we could have an army of werewolf slaves that are intelligent, like the humans were their slaves, and they were also their food source. But they were like, great, they're not as fast as us, but they're as strong, if not stronger. So let's get them to bite these humans, and we can treat them as slaves because they're stupid, they're not as fast, and we can keep them under control, and they can build shit for us.
Yeah.
We can have entire cities So they do that. And that goes on probably, I can't remember, in the films, for like a couple of 100 years or whatever. And then all of a sudden this werewolf guy's like, wait a minute, I'm basically creating slaves here. And I'm as strong as these vampires, maybe not as strong as all the vampire lords, but I'm definitely stronger than all the regular vampires. Why am I basically being treated like a bitch and forced to turn all of these humans into werewolves and treat them like slaves?
Yeah.
Not fair. So he basically tries to escape, and he takes a bunch of werewolves with him, fights more along the way. This is how you have this rebellion that turns into like a 1,000-year war.
So basically, this is Spartacus.
Yeah.
But with vampires and werewolves.
Basically, and the werewolves are like the underdogs who are hiding in the sewers, hiding in cities and towns, trying to build up a resistance. The problem is, they're fueled by their rage and their temper. It's hard to rally an army doing that, isn't it? Because all they want to do is fight all the time. There's actually a scene where the main character in the underworld, the male main character in the underworld series, Michael, who becomes the hybrid, doesn't he?
Yeah.
In the films. He meets that werewolf leader, doesn't he? And they're showing him the camp.
It's been a long time since I've seen
They're
this.
showing them the camp, and two werewolves are just beating the shit out of each other. They're just full on going brawl, and it's like, well, why would you do that? You're already losing the war. Why give away another soldier and injure another one?
Yeah.
And it's because that's all they know. They like to fight. They're ruled by their emotions and their rage, unlike the vampires, who are quite clever and conniving and don't really feel a lot.
But I want to cheer for the werewolves in this scenario.
Yeah, because they're the underdogs. They're the ones that were treated really badly.
Underdog. Wolf.
I know. That's why I did that joke earlier. You didn't notice. Yeah. Well, who would you want to be? A vampire or a werewolf?
I'll go with a vampire, I guess.
Would you want to live in this world? There's an eternal war going on, so there's always a chance you might have to get into a fight with the werewolves.
Well, maybe
you're
I
a
just lay
vampire.
low.
But then at the same time, you can create... Is it a coven? Do they call them covens?
Yeah.
So you could basically, if you're one of the higher vampires, you just bite like 30 or 40 humans and turn them into vampires, and they serve under you. And they can be men, women, and it's like alluded in the films that because their sort of group of vampires in the film, where it's Kate Beckinsale, Selena, or whatever, her coven is being ruled by this guy who's a bit of a jackass, but he claimed he killed the werewolf leader, so he's been promoted and he's in charge.
Right.
And he's basically just turned a load of women, and he's just having orgies every day
Doesn't sound so bad.
and parties every single day, and the whole sort of coven's turned to shit. I'd want to be a werewolf. Just because I think the vampires are dicks.
Well, I haven't seen enough of the movies to make a judgment.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I've got an eternal war, but what if I'm just like a vampire and I'm strutting around? I can go out at night, I can go out in the day, can't I?
No, they can't go out in the day.
Oh, right, not if I'm one of the vampire lords.
No, they'll still burn. I think the only way you can go out in the day is if you're one of those hybrids.
Ah, right, okay,
Which
alright.
is like
So,
Michael, and then I think later Celine becomes one as well.
alright then, so let's say that I'm trotting around, maybe staying indoors a lot in the day,
Yeah.
or whatever, with the blinds drawn, and I'm an antique dealer.
Trying to seduce beautiful women and then turn them into vampires, offering them immortality.
Yeah, and then maybe I'm strutting around dressed like Hannibal,
Yeah.
you know.
In a nice suave suit.
Yeah.
Saying, would you like to live forever, beautiful?
Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. That sounds appealing to me.
I'd rather
I
be a
mean,
werewolf.
being a wolf, yeah, that's great, but at the same time, I don't want to just like have a fight for no reason. But my point is, if I'm just laying low as a vampire, living my life as just a normal dude, faking my death every so often, start leaving it all to someone else who's me,
Yeah.
and all that,
Yeah.
would I get sucked into this war?
Probably. If one of sort of the higher ups told you to, you'd have no choice because you were probably bitten by them, so you'd have to serve them. It's kind of like a system where whoever bit you, I think, is in charge of you basically, and you kind of have to serve under them and do as you're told. It's like a dictatorship.
What if my leader died and at the same time I just did a runner?
You'd move up then. So if you were bit by one of the sort of the lords, you would then become a lord, I'd imagine.
Yeah, what if I'm at the bottom rung?
You probably wouldn't get called then, I wouldn't imagine.
Yeah, if I just did a runner one day.
It depends. If it's like in modern day times, you could probably get away with that. Like back in like when it first starts off, it's kind of like you don't have a choice. You have to serve in the vampire army. Yeah. Because they were like massive sort of battlefield wars, but a lot of it's being fought underground during our time. So it's like little skirmishes. So chances are you probably, if you were a low level vampire, you wouldn't see much warfare.
I could just be walking out at night.
Either that or a werewolf would come behind and just tear your head off.
Well, at least it's quick.
Because the vampire bodies, unless you're one of the lords, isn't as durable. So if they grab you, you're like incredibly fast. But if he comes up behind you and grabs you, it's just tearing your head straight off.
Oh right, shit.
Yeah, the werewolves are strong, but they're slow and dumb, and they're fueled by their rage. Except for some of the sort of high level ones that have been around since the beginning.
Yeah, can control the
They
animal.
can control the animal. I mean, the kind of leader of the werewolves, but he's been around for pretty much ever.
Yeah.
So, but I'd want to be a werewolf just because they're all shredded. They're all hench. They're all hench as fuck. They all turn into this massive hulking beast, super strong. If you've been around for a while, you're really fast as well.
Is that it?
You just get to fight. You just get to fight all the time. It looks pretty cool to me.
Vampire orgies for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. You know, I'd just be strutting out at night, walking through the park. You know, tapping my cane.
Yeah.
Wallet full of cash.
Yeah.
Might go out and do some drugs. You know, I'm a vampire aristocrat, you
I
know.
don't know if the drugs would work on you because they have a massive healing factor.
Well, I'm getting drunk. Find a high-class escort.
Don't think you can get drunk unless you find something like stronger than your healing factor.
I'll go out and have a few drinks.
But
mingle.
miss being drunk all those hundreds of years ago.
Yeah. Then, you know, go and find a high-class escort.
You just need to get drunk off women, basically.
Yeah. And then, you know, I'm passing this. I know this dude's a werewolf coming up this way, and I just sort of ignore him. Good day, sir.
The reason why I wouldn't want to be a vampire is because...
No, is he going to kick off at me, or is he just going to go, yeah?
Well, they are. Well, the werewolf,
Yeah.
they have like had a 1,000-year war, so probably try and kill you.
Good day, sir.
The reason why I would want to be a werewolf over a vampire is the werewolves, although they're controlled by their emotions and their rage, they still have feelings. The vampires, everything's dulled. They have these crazy orgies and they don't really care. Because they've been around for thousands of years. Everything is dulled. Their emotions are dulled. They can't get drunk. They can't get high. They can't feel love. A lot of them don't feel love. They're not in relationships. And if they are in relationships, they still fuck everyone because they don't care about anything. They don't feel anything. Really.
Yeah.
It's kind of a crappy existence because the emotions are dulled to the point where they're nearly dead.
There's some perks.
Because you are nearly dead. So.
There's some perks.
Oh yeah, there is. The giant vampire orgies is a massive perk.
There you go.
Drinking blood and then seducing the woman of the blood you've just drank, I guess, is a massive perk.
Yeah.
So it's like your dinner and your date is sorted all in one go.
Hey, well,
All in one go.
it's a cheap date for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Would you live in this one?
Yeah, I think I would actually. I'd risk dying in the war to be a badass werewolf. Would you?
I'd probably go on the vampire side.
I'd probably try and avoid the... Would you live in it?
Yeah, why not?
I'd be the same as you. I'd try and avoid the war.
Yeah.
It'd be harder for me to avoid the war than you because there's a lot more vampires than werewolves. So pretty much anywhere I'd go, I'd probably bump into a vampire.
But I was just walking to the park and just raise my cane at
They
you.
literally, Selena's one of them. They literally have a squad called the Death Dealers, and their job is to hunt down werewolves because there's a lot less of them.
Yeah.
So get a squad of like 6 vampires. These Death Dealers get them to hunt down one werewolf. Werewolf's not going to stand a chance, is he?
Nah.
If he's just travelling through city to city,
He could be like the littlest hobo.
Yeah, could be a decent life.
Guess so.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm a little bit undecided, but I'll put it on the list. Alright then, because I don't know anything about anime.
Right, I'll talk you through this one.
Don't go into too much detail.
I won't. One of the yeah, I won't. Don't worry. One of the you're saving the best till last, aren't you? You're saving 40k till last. Your favourite one, so you can talk about it for like an hour.
Yeah, I think we're going to be probably making this a 2-parter.
In the second part will basically be 45 minutes of Warhammer, and people just won't listen to it.
Warhammer nerds will.
Yeah, that's true. Right, so basically we'll do My Hero Academia, okay?
Alright.
Which is an anime, as you just said. But
Cartoon.
An anime, not a cartoon.
It's a cartoon.
America makes cartoons, Japan makes
Oh, it's
anime.
just a fancy branding tool. It's a cartoon.
One's an art form,
They're
one's
both
just...
art forms. So someone drawing it.
The Simpsons is not an art.
Of course it is.
No, it's not. It's crap.
It's cultural.
It's cultural
The
because...
Simpsons have been a massive influence on
it's
pop culture for the last
cultural
30
because
years.
it's been around for 30 years.
Yeah.
Doesn't make it great, though.
You know, the people who like anime are usually fat, neck-bearded men who wear
No.
trilbies and wield a sword.
That's not
And
true.
go out there in the garden and cut melons.
That's not true.
And tip their hats to ladies and go, hello, mom, and they get really offended when a woman tells them to fuck off.
That's not true.
So
That was,
and then
that
they
was
claim
true.
to be part Japanese, even
Yeah.
though they're clearly ginger.
That's the same stereotypes that create racism, sir. No, those stereotypes haven't been true for nearly 20 years.
I've seen a lot of them on the internet.
Most of the people I know that like anime are very young and attractive. So,
Okay.
like in their like 16 to sort of 25, 30 mark. That's usually my sort of generation and the generation before. The after even, they're the ones that are usually into anime. And it's becoming very popular now. It's actually, I'd say it's very mainstream. It's probably in the next sort of 10 years going to be like you've just said, a massive pop culture. It's going to be more influential than probably stuff like Simpsons, South Park, and stuff. It's on Netflix. They put out more anime now on Netflix than shows some months.
It's cheaper.
It's not cheaper. It's more expensive sometimes. Unless you've got high-end actors, obviously.
Yeah.
But a lot of them, they hire high-end actors now. Hollywood people are getting involved with it.
Well, there is. I mean, people have realised.
All the Studio Ghibli films, or Ghibli, or however you pronounce it, I'm not sure. They've got like A-listers that voice those, because they're like the Japanese equivalent of Disney, and they've got like A-listers like.
Is there a Studio Ghibli world?
I think there is. There probably is. But anyway, my choice again. Anime is not nerdy. Warhammer 40k is nerdier. If you did a vote of 100 people, more people would vote to watch anime than they would play Warhammer 40k or read any other literature. So I win that argument, and now I'll move on. Right, so My Hero Academia.
Nerd!
You are a nerd, yes. My Hero Academia is a world, basically, where human beings have evolved to the point where almost all of them have something called a quirk, which is essentially a superhero power.
Right.
It's a power. They're born with a random quirk, and it is random, completely random usually, but as time has gone on and more generations have passed on, quirks are now starting to be passed on from like parent to child.
No, so it's obviously something genetic there.
Yeah,
and,
but at first they were like the first generation. It was just babies started being. It kind of happened in like the
super babies.
Yeah, in the I think the first baby that was born had a really shit quirk, like they could glow or some shit. But
that's handy.
In like the 60s and the 70s, all these babies were being born and they were having superpowers, and everyone's like, "Whoa, what's happening?" And it was kind of the next step for human evolution.
Is it explained why?
No, it hasn't explained why. But as time's going on, these people that have quirks, it's now got to the point where 90% of the planet are quirked, and only 10% are quirkless.
That's completely shit for the 10%.
It is. It's really shit.
Do they have to do all the shitty jobs in society? Are
Not
they treated as an underclass?
No, not really. Because they're so spread out. I mean, and quirks, a lot of quirks are. It's at the point where a lot of quirks are shit. So because they're shit, it doesn't really matter if you've got a quirk or not, because you don't necessarily need it for your job. So you could be a news reporter and you wouldn't need it, but then you could be a news reporter that flies, so that'd be useful. But you wouldn't actually necessarily need to use your power. But then there are some people that no quirks are the same. So you might have a crappy quirk, like you can breathe fire.
Like I can make all my bones dissolve at will.
Yeah, so it could
give
be
myself stage 4 terminal cancer repeating.
Yeah, like Deadpool.
Yeah.
So yeah, you could have.
I'm just literally. I just go. What's your power? I can give myself cancer.
If you can give other people cancer, that'd be an awfully powerful power.
No, you just go, I can give myself cancer, and they go, really? And you just go, hang on a sec. Yep, there you go.
You get rid of the cancer.
No, you just die and then just come back to life.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you could have a power, say, that's really crap, so you can only levitate things as big as a cup. So
that's handy.
It is handy, but it's gonna only help you a little bit with your job. It's not gonna make a massive difference.
I was just thinking of tipping a beer can to my mouth.
But then some people have much more powerful quirks. So you get some people with like strength quirks, so they might be able to lift 10 tons. And because some people had better quirks than others, some people would then obviously not need them in their day-to-day work. So you might drive a train or a bus, so you're not going to need your quirk for that. Because we still need normal day-to-day jobs, but then you might have some sort of quirk where you can build tech. So that's great. Work in a tech company where you can build futuristic tech. Awesome. But some people were born with quirks so powerful that they needed to do something with them. Obviously, some people thought, oh, great, I can steal and take whatever I want. So then supercrime was started. So then we needed a force to stop them. So these superheroes started appearing, and they were being vigilantes. But people were getting hurt, things were getting destroyed, and it wasn't good.
So supercrime.
Supercrime. So basically,
I'm just picturing a big crime up like big bold letters, and then the C's got wearing a cape.
Yeah, so basically, every government on the planet decided, okay, 90% of the planet has quirks, 10% doesn't. Some of these quirks are at hand. Some people are using them for evil, killing people, attacking people, stealing money, destroying monuments. And other people are then trying to stop them with their equally powerful quirks. But there's no system, and people are getting hurt, injured, and that. So they created the hero system, which is basically where you work as a hero. You get paid to do it. So every time you perform a heroic deed, depending on how big of a deed it was, if you beat a high level villain, you get paid more money.
Right.
And if you were a hero, then you could also create a hero sort of firm where lower heroes could work for you.
It's like Batman and the Bat Family.
Yeah.
He's the head of the company.
Yeah.
Robin, you're out tonight.
Yeah.
Go with Batgirl.
But it became like a thing where you could like have an entire company. It's an entire firm. You could
that takes you to the boys then.
It's like
where
the
boys. Firm hires them out.
Yes. So you could be like literally a top end hero, one of the best in the country, say in England. And you decide I'm going to set up a hero sort of group, and you have like 10 lower level heroes working under you.
Yeah.
And they'll work under you, and they'll get paid, and you'll get some of that money, and you'll have a place where you work out from, and you stop these villains, and it can be quite profitable.
Basically, I'm just like the Avengers. I'm making my own Avengers team.
But you get paid for it.
Yeah.
The government actually pay you to save the day.
Cool.
And there's health benefits to it. So if you get injured, the government, because people were getting hurt when they were fighting these villains. Yeah. So there was a system implemented, and there's a ranking system as well. So you can be like the 100th best hero in the country, because it's all ranked you like first to. I'd say there's 2,000 heroes in the country. You can be ranked between first and 2,000. So that'll encourage you to try and work harder as a hero. So you can move up the ranks. If you're in the top 10, you're basically famous. You're making like millions a year.
You're like one of the top WWE wrestlers if you.
Yeah, basically. So each time you beat a villain, they're probably when they call you in your group, or if you work alone, if you don't want to build up a group, you then turn up and you fight this villain. He's probably one of the most powerful villains in America, in England, or wherever you're stationed. So when you beat him, no other heroes probably could beat him around. You get paid millions for that fight.
Yeah.
One fight and you get paid millions.
Is it televised?
Yeah, usually the news surround it. So it's just like say UFC, say Conor McGregor, he pulls in millions, doesn't he? Each fight, whoever fights him, you're the best and most famous hero in your country. Everyone loves and adores you.
What do you beat though? That's a massive downturn to morale.
It is, yeah. You can literally drop in the rankings.
You just get beat and killed.
Oh, that happens.
Yeah.
You get killed, and then someone else rises up to first. They try and turn up, try and stop him. Maybe they get killed too.
What happens if this is the most powerful dude out there, and no one can stop him?
Well, that's the thing. See, the anime's not caught up with it, but in the manga, there's a guy that nobody can stop, and he started killing all the heroes. All the top heroes are getting killed. Oh. Nobody can stop him. What do you do?
Let him take whatever he wants.
Yeah, he's already like wiped out like half of Japan.
And then go, let him have what he wants and wait until someone more powerful comes along.
Up, yeah.
So is there a darker side to this, to like selective breeding?
Yes.
Because you'd be like, hey baby, I can do this, and click your hand and like throw a fireball.
There is actually.
And she's like, oh yeah, but I can do this, and she sprays ice out with her hand. And you go, oh, let's put that together, fire and ice.
It's funny you remember the you must have remembered the conversation I said the other day. So the number 2 hero, or he's number 1 now, but for a long time he was number 2, Endeavor. So he uses flames, and he's super powerful in Japan. Number 2 can control flames so hot he can literally incinerate an entire city. The number 1 hero, All Might, he's like top of the top, super strength.
Superman.
Yeah, he's basically their version of Superman. He's not as strong as Superman. He's probably about as strong as the Hulk, or maybe a little bit stronger, about the same sort of thing. But he is their Superman, essentially. And Endeavor could never beat him, so he thought, if I can't beat him, I'm going to have the perfect child that one day can. So he basically tracks down a woman with a perfect sort of quirk. So a lot of quirks have a drawback. If they're super powerful, they have a drawback.
Yeah.
So Endeavor's is obviously easy. He overheats. If he fights for too long and he goes too hot, his flames start burning him.
Right.
Because he's going so hot he could melt steel. So
yeah.
Eventually that's going to take a toll on your skin, even for someone that's nearly flame.
Is he always tanned?
No, I don't think he is.
No.
But he does have a flaming mustache, which is pretty awesome.
That's pretty swish.
So a lot of them have drawbacks to their quirks. Like All Might's because he's super strong. The more he fights, the more sort of damage that does to his muscles and bones. But he's so tough, it takes an incredibly strong opponent to do that to him, and he has to be fighting for a very long time. But he thinks if I can get a son, and I don't know why he wants a son, but it's got to be a son, that has this quirk, my quirk, it's one of the most powerful on the planet, but it can be cooled, awesome. So he then marries, he basically sets up an arranged marriage, as you know, is quite common in Japan. He sets up, it is. He sets up an arranged marriage because he's a millionaire, isn't he? Because he's number 2. So anyone's going to want to marry number 2. So with a family, with a nice hero, he marries her so that his son will have flame and ice. So that
I hope now that he has loads of kids and none of them have it, and then a girl gets it.
He has about 6 kids, and one gets fire, one gets ice, one gets too much fire, one gets too much ice, and then eventually on like his 4th or 5th, he ends up having this kid that's basically perfect half and half.
Is it a girl?
No, it's a boy.
Ah.
He pushes him so he's actually got a massive scar on the one side of his face because he pushed him so hard that he snapped and tried to fight back against his dad, and his dad hit him so hard he scarred his face.
Well.
He's got a massive burn over his eye. Yeah, so selective breeding is definitely a thing to try and get more powers.
That's dark.
It is dark, but you would go that way, wouldn't you? Usually you expect that sort of stuff from a villain though, but he is a bit of a knobhead. But it's awesome. You can get born with a great quirk, become a superhero. You can basically make as much money as you want then.
Yeah, I mean, that's not bad.
And even if you are a shit...
Obviously very dangerous, though.
Even if you've got a shit power and you still want to be a hero, you can still do it. You just do it illegally and be a vigilante. And they actually have a spin-off manga called Vigilantes with all the people that wanted to be superheroes and they didn't have the power to pass the test. So there's a guy that basically he's super slippery. So he slides everywhere and he wants to be
man.
Yeah, and he wants to be a superhero. So and everyone tells him he can't, and he fails the test, but he goes and does it anyway, and he ends up saving the entire city in that manga.
Did it involve sliding?
I think it does. Yeah. A lot of sliding.
A lot of sliding.
He actually meets a guy who wants to be a hero that doesn't have a quirk, and he's basically like the Vigilantes version of Batman.
Right.
He goes around beating.
His quirk is he doesn't have a quirk.
Yeah, he goes round. That's what he's like. That's literally what he's like. And he goes round with like some knuckle dusters, beating up super powered heroes, getting the shit kicked out of him. And his quirk is basically willpower, like Batman. He just goes around beating people up, and he helps that sort of guy who slides learn creative ways of using his quirk because he doesn't have one.
Yeah.
So thinking out of the box to actually make him a better hero, sort of thing. Even though he's a vigilante. But yeah, it's almost like if you get born into that world, you're nearly guaranteed to become a hero.
Yeah.
And if you're not going to be...
It's not bad, is it?
Yeah, even if
and you've always got the option of a life of crime.
Exactly. And even if your quirk is shit, you still got a superpower, even if it's shit, and there's nothing saying you can't train it to try and get better and to try and become something. So there's a guy on there that you probably would like. He calls himself... What does he call himself? There's something gentleman. He's always rocked around with a suit and he's always drinking tea. And he actually failed the hero exam, so he becomes a villain.
Yeah.
And he becomes an incredibly strong villain because he spends like the next 20 years training his quirk. So his quirk is he creates barriers.
Yeah.
It's a very weak quirk when he's a teenager because he just creates these little barriers. But over time, he learns to make the barriers bigger and control the barriers so he can bend them. But then he can attach them onto things. So he actually has a fight with the main character and he attaches it to a steel thing on a building and it bends.
When you say a barrier, what do you mean, like an energy bubble kind of thing?
It's like it's like a flat energy bubble.
Yeah.
But it gets so strong that he can apply them to like thin air. So he can make them malleable so they bounce. So he's got a springboard so he can basically float in the sky.
Yeah.
He can attach them to materials, and because he can control them completely, that sort of space, he then ends up being able to bend steel essentially. There's a bit where he fights the main character and there's these sort of steel scaffolding and he bends it. And he's like, if you don't catch that, it'll only stay straight while I'm in the area. I'm leaving. It'll turn straight, and because it's been doing this, wobbling, for like a minute straight, when it straightens, it'll fall, and it'll probably crush everyone down below. Because it's wobbled, vibrated so violently, when it solidifies again, it'll just fall.
Yeah.
So then it's like a really powerful ability. So I personally would love to live in a place like that.
It does seem kind of dangerous if you're a non-quirk, just going about your day-to-day life, and the next thing you know, you've stepped into the middle of a superhero battle.
That's true.
And you just get lasered in half.
That is true. That would suck, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Or if you've got a low power that can't stop that laser ability.
Or you could be the most powerful one of the lot. You're stood there, you get a hot dog, Next thing you know, laser to the back of the head.
And you're dead.
You're dead.
The thing is, in that world, because of the hero association, there's a ton of heroes and not actually loads of villains, because they keep them. Once they capture him, they keep him contained. They throw him in jail, in these high-end jails that they can't get out of. So it's actually much harder in that world to become a strong villain and be a successful villain than it is a hero, because they haven't got an organization.
Oh, there's no villains guild. Well, that's where you got to start then, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's what happens in the manga. See, this is what's happening now. The guy that's kind of nobody can stop, and he's killing all these. The top 10, he's like wiping them out. He's killing them one by one. He's destroying Japan and all that. He's created like a villain guild.
Nice.
Of like he's like gone round collecting all the most powerful villains, and he's like, right, we're going to start a war with the heroes. And they just didn't have that level of organisation.
Yeah.
And now they do.
So what's this guy's power? Super organisation.
Decay. Everything he touches decays instantly.
That's a shitter.
Yeah, it's like super...
Oh man, he doesn't work on himself, does it?
No.
Oh, thank God for that. Unless
he's
got a wank.
It's super effective, so literally he just has to touch your wrist and that's it, your entire arm will decay. And if you don't chop it off, it'll decay your entire body.
Wow.
It'll turn you to dust instantly. Like within a matter of seconds. Like the second he touches your finger, it's dust. And it'll travel up unless you cut your arm off.
Yeah.
And that's a deadly quirk.
Yeah, you don't want that.
No.
Because you can't actually get touched by him.
And his mentor, the one that's trained him...
What if I wear gloves?
That might work, possibly. You probably disintegrate the gloves, though. His mentor can actually steal quirks, and I think in the manga he's just passed his quirk on somehow to him. So he's given him that ability as well. So not only can he decay, I think he can now steal other quirks. So he's basically unbeatable. So that's a dangerous guy.
Yeah.
That's a dangerous guy.
So that sounds like it could end up being a potential shit show for me, in whichever, you know.
Don't live in Japan. Don't live in Japan.
But once he's got Japan, he's gonna.
Don't live in Japan and don't live in America, because nothing good ever seems to happen in America or Japan.
I'd never live in New York.
Yeah. No.
Because everything bad
always happens in New York.
Yeah.
It does. Always happens. Don't live in America and do not live in Japan. And don't live in China either. Not even really for powers, just don't live in China. There always seems to be something going wrong in China.
Yeah.
Always.
Yes.
I would live there, and I fingers crossed I'd get a good quirk.
I would live with that, to be fair. You know, that doesn't seem... Though the danger of getting just rolling down the street and next thing you know, I'm being crushed by the Incredible Hulk because he's been punched away. You
have that same fear if you were in the Marvel universe or in the DC universe. Whenever you've got superheroes and people with powers, that could happen at any point. In America, there was the battle of... Was it the Battle of New York? Did it happen in New York?
What, the Avengers 1?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, it's New York. It's always New York.
I know.
The entire of New York gets wiped out.
Why would you live there?
All the Avengers fine. They're all fine. How much collateral damage? How many deaths?
Oh, well, not so many, because Cap, being the badass he is,
saves
let everyone
everyone
out through the bunkers on the subway.
He saves everyone.
Yeah.
Because he's Cap.
Because he's Cap.
Yeah, Iron Man did all the work, really. He's the smart one. He's the brains.
Cap is on the ground directing, set up the perimeter.
It's the same concept, though, isn't it? If you live in a world where there's a bunch of people with superheroes, unless you've got a high-end superpower, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Unless you live in one of the cities that doesn't really get attacked, because it doesn't really have supervillains, doesn't really have superheroes, then you're safe.
Boston.
Yeah.
Seems alright.
Nothing seems to... We should Google that. Is there any Marvel heroes in Boston with a Boston accent?
Yeah. I'm not going to attempt to do it, though.
But yeah, it's just not going to be safe, is it? You're just walking around in Gotham, you get shot by a villain, or Batman turns up, beats the crap out of him, and you're traumatised for life because his Bat guy came down and beat the shit out of someone.
Yeah, but on the plus side, he might take you with him.
Train you.
And train you.
And then you're the new Robin.
Or the new Alfred.
I'd love to see you rocking around in tights. Come along, Batman!
Oi, Batman!
Time to save the day!
Hey, Batman, can we go for a pint in a minute?
And he's just like, Robin, you don't have to wear the tights, they're optional. Just wear some trousers. We have trousers. And you're like, I like the tights. I'm going to stick with the tights.
Yes! Why are you wearing the original Robin costume?
It's like,
do you want some armour? No.
It's like, Ben, you don't have to be Robin. You're a grown man. You can be whoever you want. We'll think of another bird name. You can be the falcon, the hawk. Now the hawk's taken. You can be the eagle. Yeah. Anything. Well, you can even be the. Nah, actually, it doesn't matter. I was going to say the bald eagle.
Why not? Powerful
Powerful.
creatures. Just like me.
That's twice I've teased you in 2 podcasts about being bald. I was
I
like,
don't care because how much did your haircut cost?
yeah, but I look.
How much did your haircut
I
cost?
look like I should be in Peaky Blinders, so it's fine.
How much did your haircut cost?
Like 20 quid.
20 quid?
For the beard as well.
20 quid?
For the beard
Yeah,
as
which
well.
might cost me.
Free?
Yeah. Did it myself. Yeah, do you know how much it cost me to shave my beard?
Free.
Yeah, did it myself. Sorry. Yeah.
How
I
often
win.
do-
I've
how
got 20
often-
quid. I've got an extra 20 quid.
How often do you have to shave that?
About once every 3 weeks so it gets noticeable.
That's awesome.
Genuinely.
Like it saves on a lot of time.
I did this 2 weeks ago. No, a week ago.
Yeah,
A
I was
week
gonna
ago
say-
tomorrow.
That looks like a week, yeah.
Can you see anything? You're sat across the table from me.
There's a tiny bit. Like a little bit of fluff there. Yeah, it's like I feel like if it wasn't blonde, if it was like dark, we'd see it more.
Yeah.
There's stubble there. There's definitely stubble there. You just can't really see it because it's blonde. If it was black or brown, you'd definitely see that.
Yeah, maybe. Right. I think we're going to make this a 2-parter.
Yeah.
Yep. So we'll continue this.
It's because he wants to spend an hour on 40k. That's what it is. That's the only reason why he let me stick the anime one in there.
No, because there's still
And then
more
he's
to go
and
through
then
on the
he spent
list.
he spent 5 minutes going nerd, but the second I'm like nerd with 40k, but no, it's not. Henry Cavill does it. He's not a nerd. He didn't spend like 20 minutes making a YouTube video on how to build gaming PCs. He's not a nerd. He doesn't spend like an hour a day painting these Warhammer figures. He's not a nerd.
Therapeutic for him. It's
Henry Cavill is the biggest nerd ever. He literally, The Witcher is one of the biggest sort of nerdiest books out there / games out there, and he's the main character of that. Superman's one of the oldest and nerdiest comics. He's a massive loser. Superman is. He's like the biggest nerd ever. He's like, oh, I'm a news reporter, and I'm like really nice and quiet and don't speak out
I'm
because
so
I don't
meek.
because I don't want anyone to realise I'm Superman. Another nerd. He loves playing nerds. So, Warhammer is nerdy.
We'll see.
Super nerdy.
Well, I think it's a damn sight cooler than this.
Then what?
Than anime.
Anime.
Yeah.
You haven't even watched My Hero Academia.
No, but I did see that bloke then with a gun for a head.
Gunface or whatever
Yeah,
his name is.
Gunface. Like, wow.
Yeah. That was pretty good. You liked that.
I like the theme tune.
Yeah, you liked it. You sat there and you were like, I might watch this at some point.
Yeah, because the theme tune was awesome.
No,
It suckered me in.
no, it wasn't. You said, oh, cool, a guy with a gun for a face that's a detective that wears a duster and smokes all the time. That's my kind of guy.
Well, yeah, all right. Yeah.
There we go.
I do like Attack on Titan.
Yeah, there you go. See, you're an anime nerd.
Well, maybe. I'll never admit to anything.
He's gonna go outside and start like chopping watermelons with
I'm going to
his
get a
samurai
katana
sword.
now and a trilby and a neck beard.
I'm surprised you don't own a trilby.
I don't actually. Never owned a trilby.
I'm surprised.
Yeah.
Seems like the sort of 40k sort of nerdy thing to do.
No. 40k players just overweight and have BO.
And overweight and have BO.
And usually it's in their unkempt,
Oh,
straggly
no.
beards.
No.
Yeah, that's usually the 40k crowd. And no
Yeah.
offence, I love you all. Henry Cavill, especially you.
Yeah. Do you want to know? You want to know why anime is not so nerdy anymore? Because of OnlyFans. Because of all those thoughts on OnlyFans that dress up in the cosplay.
Yeah.
So it's mainstream now. Everyone was like, "Oh, she's really hot. I wonder what that cosplay's all about." And then
Yeah.
they ended up watching anime. So yeah, thanks OnlyFans. If you'd like to hire me and give me lots of money, I'd appreciate that.
You can set your own up.
Yeah.
That dude did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a $5. It was in weird news on Quint of the Bull for a $5. You
Rate your genitals.
Yeah, he'll rate your genitals. For 10 quid, 15 quid, he'll send you a voice recording, and for
Would you-
25 quid, he'll send you a video.
Would you rate someone's genitals for a tenner?
Fuck yeah.
Just staring at dicks every day.
Well, you haven't got to look at it. You just go, yeah, it's all right. There you go. Yeah, I'll give that a 6 out of 10. Well done,
What
mate.
if you want a detailed description on what you did and didn't like?
No, because only a message. You don't
what
speak to them
what are
live.
the pros and cons?
It's
of...
a message. It's a pre-recorded message. You
Oh,
don't
okay.
speak to them live. So you look
Okay.
at it and go, yeah, it's about a 6, mate. Well done.
Yeah.
Not big as mine, obviously.
Or you could just sell foot pics as well. That seems to be pretty profitable on OnlyFans, apparently.
Yeah.
I don't think mine would sell for much, though, to be fair.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah. but that seems to be pretty profitable.
What? Sorry.
Selling foot pictures.
Oh, foot pictures.
Yeah, foot pictures.
Yeah.
Pictures of your feet.
Yeah, I don't want that.
No. You could rate people's feet.
Oh no, I don't like.
He's already got the dicks thing. You can't steal that one.
I'll do a rate. You rate your breasts
Oh,
for
okay.
£5.
You just get lots of man tits.
Oh yeah. Hey, they're paying me a £5.
You get to see tits. It doesn't matter what tits.
They're paying me a £5 for the privilege. Doesn't matter. All I've got to do is go, yeah, mate, crack him.
You have a cracking pair of tits, buddy.
You know. Anyway, thank you for listening. Come back for part 2. We've got to give you a tease. Obviously, Warhammer 40,000 will be in there.
Which you can skip that bit. Just listen to
Nah,
part 1.
that'll be the main thrust of it.
And what else is there?
Hunger Games,
Hunger
One
Games.
Piece, Westeros, obviously Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
The Witcher, Futurama, and Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm living in that one.
Yeah.
That's my favourite at the moment.
Why are you living in that one?
I'll tell you next time we record. Alright, so I've been Ben. Thanks for listening. Come back for part 2. Don't drink the Flavour Aid and don't join a cult.
I've been Shawn. Thanks.
Gotta work on that.
Yeah, I will do.